Hi, guys. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about your animal research for the week. I know Mrs. Snyder is also going to be posting a video, but we kind of thought we would each show you a little bit about what we're expecting when you research about your animal's habitat. The habitat is where your animal lives. So you've already created these awesome covers. I saw all of the hard work you guys did on those. They look great. So now we're starting our actual research and we're going to find out lots of really good information about our animals. So I wanted to show you a couple of different things. The first thing is I'm going to research a little bit about meerkats, okay? And I know that I'm hunting for information about their habitat. So in the front, the table of contents, there's a part that says, where do meerkats live? And it tells me that I'm going to look on page 6 to find that information. So I'm going to turn to page 6. And the heading at the top says, where do meerkats live? And a lot of times in nonfiction texts, when we're talking about where an animal is located, they show us a map. So you might want to put a picture of where your animal lives. You might want to find a map to include on your habitat page. That would be really cool. So now I'm just going to read this part to you down here. It says, meerkats live in the Kalahari Desert in southern Africa. It is hot and dry in the desert. A lot of the desert is covered in sand. The meerkats dig burrows in the sand or live in burrows dug by other animals. So now I need to stop and do some thinking. There's a lot of information on these pages. So what I read, I'm going to kind of talk it back to myself. I read that meerkats are located in the Kalahari Desert, and that is in southern Africa. So on my habitat page, that's going to be some information that I want to include. So I might want to take a pencil and a piece of paper or a Post-it note and look carefully at the way those things are spelled. Because I'm writing a nonfiction text, I want to make sure that I have everything spelled correctly. So I definitely want to include that they're found in the Kalahari Desert. And I also want to include that that is located in southern Africa. So I would jot down those notes for myself. Another thing that I read, and when you're talking about your animal's habitat, you want to talk about what it is like in that area. So this tells me that it's hot and dry and it's a desert. So those are some really important things about the meerkat habitat that I'm going to want to include. So I might jot those down on my paper too. The next thing is, talks a lot about how the desert is covered in sand. There's lots of sand there. So that might be important. So I would jot that down. And then it says the meerkats dig burrows in the sand, or they live in burrows dug by other animals. So I definitely want to include the word burrows. So I'm going to write that down, and that's an underground home. A burrow is a home that is dug under the ground. So I definitely want to include that because that's about where a meerkat lives. If I was studying if I were studying eagles, I would definitely want to talk about their nests, maybe what they're called, how they build them, how big they are. Those are all things that you can include in your habitat page. Something else I was thinking about in the habitat, you could definitely talk about if your animal lives a solitary life and lives alone, or if your animal lives in a group. So I was looking here at the table of contents page, and I noticed it says, do meerkats live in groups? And it tells me to turn to page 14. So I'm going to turn to page 14. And on this page, it says meerkats live in large groups of up to 30 animals. That is definitely something important about the way a meerkat lives. That could definitely be included in the information about the habitat. They live in these hot, dry deserts with a group of meerkats, about 30 of them. And here's that word burrow again. It's talking about how they live in these underground burrows. So this would definitely be some information that I would want to include in my habitat page. Another thing I noticed, it said, what do meerkats do at night? This is another section. And it talks about how in the evening it gets cooler in the desert. And that's when the meerkats stop feeding and they go back into their burrows to sleep. So at night, they go back to their burrow to sleep. So that might be some information that I would want to include in my habitat part. Okay. I have another book here on meerkats, and I was looking at the table of contents in this one, and it said terrific tunnels was one of the sections. It didn't say where meerkats live or anything that was really super obvious. So I did kind of a little searching, a little deeper, and I found this page, and it says terrific tunnels, and it has this awesome real photo of some meerkats popping out of one of their burrows. And over here it says, a meerkat's home is under the ground. It is called a burrow. Long tunnels lead to rooms. Meerkats sleep in the burrow at night. Ooh, so I just found some other information that would be really cool for me to add to my habitat page. So I could talk about meerkats, how they have long tunnels that lead to different rooms down in their burrow. That's a little bit more detail that I could add to my research. Okay. So that's just an example of how to locate information about the habitat and some of the things that you might want to include in your habitat page. I have a few really amazing examples from my kids from the past, and they let me make copies of the work that they had done for their animal research. So I just wanted to show you these so you'll have kind of an idea of what we're going for, okay? So this one at the top, it says the habitat of a dolphin. That is a heading, which you will be including on your page about your animal's habitat. And now I'm going to read you the paragraph that this friend wrote about the habitat of a dolphin, okay? So here is the topic sentence. It's a really good one. Splash in to learn about a dolphin's habitat. First, a common and bottlenose dolphin can be found in warm oceans all over the world. Next, they jump up close to boats and ships in the Atlantic Ocean. Also, dolphins go close to the shore. Fourth, some kinds of dolphins live in rivers in Asia and South America. Another thing is that dolphins live in groups called pods. Last, dolphins live in salt water. Now, do you believe that dolphins have amazing habitats? And when this friend was writing their research, they did something really cool. They put one of those nonfiction text features in, and they made the word pods bold because that's a really important word when you're talking about dolphins. They live in groups called pods. So in the habitat page, those are some things that you can include about your animal. Here's another really good one. The habitat of a flamingo. Now, these friends wrote theirs because they weren't working on the computer for it, but you are going to have a chance to put a picture on your page that you're going to be able to cut and paste just like you did from on your cover. So you're going to have that same chance here. So you can see clearly that this friend has the habitat of a flamingo at the top. They drew this incredible map on here. And then when I hold it up, you see that big bold word that stands out? Yeah, that's the word colonies because flamingos live in groups called colonies. So this friend made sure that they put that word in bold so that it stuck out as a really important word. So we see those text features. We have a map, we have a heading, we have that bold word. Here's another one, the habitat of a wolf. This friend is missing their picture, but when I look down at their work, I see the word den and it's sticking out to me because it's bold. Can you see it? I'm sure you see it right away because wolves live in dens. So that's just another idea for how you can use those bold words. This one, the habitat of a chimpanzee, a nice, awesome heading at the top. There's a map that this friend decided to use. And then I wanted to share this topic sentence because I thought it was a really creative way to introduce the reader to what they would be reading about. It says, ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Come on, reader. This chimpanzee wants to go home. And then it tells you all about a chimpanzee's habitat. And one of the details says, first, at night, chimpanzees build nests in trees to protect themselves from their predators. So just like we talked about the meerkats living in an underground burrow, This friend was studying chimpanzees. Well, they don't live in underground burrows, but they build nests each night to sleep in the trees. So that would be, if you were studying a chimpanzee, that would be something great to include on your habitat part. Okay. There was one other example I wanted to show you. Let's see. This one. This friend was writing about snakes. At the top, it says the habitat of a rattlesnake. So you see their nice big heading at the top. They also decided to include a map on this page. But listen to their topic sentence. It's great, and it's a great way to pull the reader in. And your topic sentence should let your reader know what your paragraph is going to be all about. So this one says, do you want to know about a rattlesnake's habitat? First, rattlesnakes live in North America, South America, and South America. So that's their first detail too. So we heard a great topic sentence and we heard a great detail. Okay, so these are going to be the kind of things that we're looking for as you are telling us about your animal's habitat. So we're going to definitely want to see a nice heading at the top of your page. We're going to want to see either a real photo of your animal or possibly a map of where your animal lives. And then we're going to want to see a nice bit of information in a paragraph form. So you're going to need a topic sentence. You're going to need at least 3 supporting details, and then you need a concluding sentence to wrap it all up, just like we were doing before. This time, though, we are finding information, true facts to unfold for our readers. Okay? So I hope this video helps, and I cannot wait to read all of the amazing things that you guys find out about your animals' habitats. Okay? So good luck, and remember, you're looking for where they live, what kind of a home they have. Do they live by themselves? Do they live in groups? What is their habitat like? Describe it. Use describing words to tell what that habitat would be like. Just like the meerkat habitat, it's dry, it's hot, it's a desert. Those would be really important things for me to add. They live in burrows under the ground. They live in groups. So all of those things would be really, really good things to put in your page about your animal's habitat. Okay? Happy researching. Good luck. And I cannot wait to read all of your wonderful paragraphs soon. Okay, bye-bye.